Hi, kindergartners. Today, as we look at the book, Bread Comes to Life, we're going to be looking at the relationship between the text, that is the words, and the illustrations, which in this case are photographs. And we're going to learn and see how the author and the illustrator put them together to help you understand the purpose of the story better. So it's basically looking at pictures today. That should be fun. All right. Well, actually, let's go back to the cover. What do you notice that's kind of funny about this? Did you notice the chef's hat right up here and the chef wearing gloves, the gloved hands holding the wheat or holding the loaf of wheat bread? That gives us a clue as to what's coming up. And here, once again, we see those hands, but you probably didn't notice them right off the bat because our eyes are drawn to these many different kinds of loaves of bread. On this page, I think the author and the illustrator did something amazing. Listen to the words and look at the pictures. White bread, black bread, small bread, tall bread, thin bread, twin bread, dinner rolls, bread with holes, hard, day-old, tough bread. Here we have children that match the descriptions of the bread. Even over here, soft, squishy, fluff bread. That girl looks like she's squishing the fluffy bread, but she also looks like she's smiling. And they made the bread and the words into a smile. Bread is toast, bread is crumbs, bread is pizza, bread is buns. Did you ever think about that? That there's actually bread forming the crust of your pizza? I know for some people that's their favorite part of the pizza, and other people would just as soon skip it. Now we finally introduce our baker. Here he is wearing his whole baker's outfit. Do you suppose that he really wears that outfit when he's planting his wheat? Probably not. They set that up just for this story. And here we see him sowing his grains of wheat or planting them. And later on, we're going to see him gathering those same grains of wheat or the wheat that comes from those. This is a cool picture because what do you see up above? The sprouts of wheat. And what do you see below? The roots. Do you notice the words about the roots are down low and the words about the sprouts are up high? Isn't it cool that they put that much thought when they were putting this book together? Here we have, do you remember what this was? Our sturdy blades, tall and straight. And they took this picture very, very close up of the stalk of wheat. You can see that he's holding it in his hand, but it looks very big because it's so close. Now it looks like a blade, like a sword or a lightsaber. But over here, gently waving in the air, they took a picture from way down at the bottom of the wheat, so you could see that in relation to the sky, it's very small. What is he doing in this page? Do you remember? He's starting to gather the heads of wheat. And once again, we get to look closely at the tiny grains. He's tying it all up. And there we see our threshing box because they knew that you probably wouldn't know what a threshing box is. And here we have, you can kind of see the grains of wheat separated from the chaff. Do you remember what I said the chaff was? It's like the shell around the wheat. And here we go. There's a huge, huge bag of the seeds he's been able to gather from his harvest. And each tiny one looks like what? A loaf of bread. All right, now he is grinding his grains into flour himself with a grinder. You could also do it yourself. You can even use a little bowl and a stick. It's called a mortar and a pestle, but that's very time consuming and hard. It's easier to have a grinder or a mill of your own or to go buy your flour already made. But that's the whole point of this story, is that you can see how the flour comes straight from nature. Here are pictures of some of the simple tools. You probably have all of these tools in your kitchen: a stirring spoon, a measuring cup, a measuring spoon, a bowl, a pan to bake the bread in. Here we have our pictures of our ingredients. Do you remember what this one was called? yeast. And you can see he's putting it into the water. The yeast and the flour are going to work together because you need the sugar and the yeast to create that effect we're going to talk about. So there's the flour that we made from the wheat and salt and oil. And what do we call this? Yeah, muscle power. In this particular recipe, you need a lot of muscle power to do all of these actions. Let's count and see how many he does. He dumps it, he thumps it, he dusts it, he kneads it, he squashes it, he stretches it, and then he tosses it. And to illustrate how many steps there are here, look, they divided the illustrations into 7 steps as well. Here we have that super cool close-up so you could see how the dough has risen to the top of the bowl, and you can see what's causing it to get bigger. It's those pockets of air growing almost like a balloon blowing inside the loaf of bread. And what is he doing here? Can you almost feel that? He's punching the bread down to get the air out so that it'll come back again and it'll come up even fluffier and bigger than before. And once it's ready, we see him putting it in the loaf pan to put in the oven. What's in the oven that makes it finish up? It's a chemical reaction. You need this kind of energy. It's a science question. If you guessed heat, good thinking. So here he is slicing it fresh. He says, it's better than cake. Do you agree? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Or do you not know because maybe you haven't had fresh bread? What is this? What do you see in this picture? Can you see that closely? That's the steam rising from the bread. That's how fresh this bread is. It's hot. So they took a picture so close that you could see the steam rising. I like that part because it means the butter will melt on the bread. Now, whatever the shape it finally takes, wherever the place it finally bakes, every day we are blessed with a mountain of bread. It's the staff of life, may all be fed. And once again, he's got children of all shapes and sizes and colors looking at those breads, which are all shapes and sizes and colors. Bet you didn't realize how much thought went into the illustrating of a picture book. I hope you have enjoyed this one as much as I have. Thanks, kindergartners.